Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Ryan's Trains. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. So let's cut into this amazing review. Today's review we're going to be doing is the MTH Protosound 2 Western Maryland Russian decapod. So stay tuned for this review. The first decapods were built for the Lehigh Valley Railroad in the late 1860s. They provided too rough for the tracks on because of their long compound wheelbase. No more were followed in 19 years until the Northern Pacific Railway bought these two locomotives for switchbacks over Stampton Pass while the 2-mile tunnel was being built in low-speed service where too high tractive effort was critical for these decapods. Were successful for small numbers of decapods are built for the next 20 years almost. Service where steep grades and mountain areas were powerful at low speeds and required. These types did not provide popular successful until the consolidation locomotives. Among the decapods were used by the Anchieta, Topeka, and Santa Fe. These engines were tandem compound locomotives, but their ongoing reversing eliminations because of their genesis of the 210-2 wheel arrangement. The first boosting number of the decapods occurred when the Imperial Russia ordered approximately 1,200 decapods among American builders during World War I. When the Bolshevik Revolution occurred in 1917, 857 had already been delivered, but no more than 200 were either waiting for shipment or were being processed by the construction. These standard locomotives were adopted by the United States Railroad Administration, also known as the USRA, the body created by the government overseeing the control of the railroads during World War I, converted to American standards and put to use on American railroads. The small light-footed of these Russian decapods provided popular with smaller railroads, and many of them remained in service long after the USRA's control of the railroads ceased. Many indeed lasted until the ends of steam with those railroads. So what it means Russian decapods, they were called Russian decapods because the Russians ordered a bunch of these steam locomotives during World War One. Until that revolution happened, only 800 of those were in Russia, while 200 of those sit there. So the USRA took these engines and made them American standard to fit on American rails, and a few railroads bought these, like the Western Maryland, the Frisco, and other railroads. But most of these engines are still around today in operation conditions. Strasbourg engine number 90 is a Russian decapod, and the Frisco engine at the Illinois Railroad Museum is in operating conditions. And these engines are really amazing. So let's cut into the details of this engine and then the history of the Western Maryland Railroad. So this MTH Protosound 2 engine I got in Milwaukee at Summerfield Trains, where I told you last time I got CN 3015 there. Amazing store though, highly check it out there. This engine has a lot of good details on it. Right here by the sand dome, or it's one of these domes, there's a wire that connects down here that connects back to the cab of the engine. Right here, there's a little movable hood up here that opens for the crews to get air for the engine. And right here is illuminated headlight, illuminated number boards on the front of the engine, and activating marker lights, working smoke unit, and the front thing I like right here that says safety first on the engine. This engine has a lot of amazing details. The windows do open up, and the back of the hatch of the engine where the water gets filled in, there is two volume knobs, one for the smoke and one for the volume of the engine. And this has realistic cold load, and there is a drop plate between the engine if you want to go more realistic. It helps cover up that gap with a drop plate connecting to the engine and the tender of this locomotive. So this engine is really nice, throw some sounds. It's not my favorite MTH engine, but I'm more like a Lionel guy because I can control the engine, make the engine do what I want to do. But this engine does work out really nice. It's like just a regular conventional control engine. When I run it with my transformer, I go reverse or forward. But I'm planning to find an MTH controller or the Wi-Fi. module to work with this engine. So now let's cut on to the Western Maryland Railroad's history. The Western Maryland Railway reportedly marked the WN was an American Class 1 railroad in 1852 to 1983, which operated in Maryland, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. It was primarily a coal hauling railroad and a freight railroad with a small passenger operations. The Western Maryland became property of the Chessie System Holding Company in 1973, although it continued independent operations until May 1957, after which times many of its lines were abandoned in favor of paralleling with the Baltimore and Ohio railroads in 1983. It was fully merged into the B&O, which later after was also merged into the former Chesapeake and Ohio Railway into the Chessie System in 1987, which is now remained as the CSX Transportation System. And I know there's a YouTuber out there called RBP Trains who loves the Western Maryland. If you've seen his videos, he's got a lot of Western Maryland stuff. So RBP, if you ever see his video, I hope you love this Western Maryland steam engine I got here. But and now another note, I don't know if there is any Western Maryland steam engines that are still preserved to this day. If you guys do know, please write that down in the comments below. It's greatly appreciated. But now it's enough of me talking. Let's get this engine running on the layout. Enjoy. guys for watching this amazing review of this amazing Western Maryland Russian decapod. The next review we're going to be doing is something big. It's huge and it's massive. It's not a diesel, it's a steamer, and it's part of my favorite railroad, the Chicago and St. Paul and Pacific. So I'll see you guys next Friday. Take care.